Abbott. So Greg Abbott actually responded. All right. He responded to Jasmine Crockett's comments about him being Governor Hot Wheels. And so let's see if he is offended or if we are more offended than he is about what was said from Jasmine Crockett. Let's get to it, y'all.
All right, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett has stooped to yet another low and adding on to a string of vile comments. Over the weekend, she seemingly made fun of Texas governor, friend of this program, Greg Abbott, for using a wheelchair. Take a look at this latest disgusting remark.
We in these hot Texas streets, honey. Y'all know we got Governor Hot Wheels down there. Come on now. And the only thing hot about him is that he is a hot mess, honey.
And don't forget, she wants to hit Senator Cruz over the head hard and take down Elon as a birthday gift. Now, following intense backlash, Jasmine Crockett posted this pathetic response on X, claiming she was not thinking about his condition. Instead, was referring to the, quote, planes, trains, and automobiles that are used to transfer migrants into communities led by black mayors. Really? Now, before saying she never alluded to his condition, and of course, she took a jab at Trump supporters. Now, following this latest controversy involving Crockett, Texas.
Let me read this whole message real quick. I want to make sure I get the full context. It says, I wasn't thinking about the governor's condition. I was thinking about the planes, trains, and automobiles he used to transfer migrants into communities led by black mayors, deliberately stoking tension and fear amongst the most vulnerable. What a liar. This is a cleanup job. And see, now she misstepped because instead of standing 10 toes down, and the better response will be, listen, that's a known fact. That's how we talk about it. He's been labeled Governor Hot Wheels and all of this other type of stuff. It's fun. I would have said it's funny how y'all can't take a joke, but y'all dish it out, but you can't take it. Somewhere in that vicinity. I would have stood 10 toes down on it. It would have made her more, it would have appeased her base more. But now she's going to sit here and lie and try to act like Governor Hot Wheels meant the trains, planes, and automobiles that was basically used because we've seen an infiltration of illegal migrants coming into the United States of America through the Biden administration to share in the pain. It's such a lie. It's such a liar. She's such a liar and a chameleon. Jasmine Crockett is one of the biggest chameleons ever. We don't even know what this woman really looks like. We don't even know what this woman even looks like in real life. We have no clue. What is under there? What is under that hair hat? What is under them eyelashes? What is up under all of that makeup? We don't even know what this woman is. A chameleon. She's a liar. She's a chameleon. She's trying to clean up what she said and what she did. And all you got to do is stand on it. Don't say it and then backtrack now. You thought it was funny. You thought it was funny. I didn't think it was funny, but I didn't think it was anything that big of a deal to trip about. But now she's reneging. She says, literally, the next line I said was, and he's a hot A mess, referencing his terrible policies. At no point did I mention or allude to his condition. Lies. We know exactly what you meant. So I'm even more appalled that the very people who unequivocally support Trump, a man known for racially insensitive nicknames and mocking those with disabilities, are now outraged. So that's what she said. It looks like on X, formerly known as Twitter. Ain't that crazy? How tolerant do you have to be? Because when Twitter wasn't owned by Elon Musk, think about this for a second, y'all. When Twitter was not owned by Elon Musk, it was not uncommon to see you censored, removed from the platform. I mean, for God's sakes, they removed Trump from the platform. They banned Trump from the platform. Ain't that crazy to think about? And she's using the platform because it's the way that she get the most visibility and can directly speak to her constituents. And Elon Musk, because he's not against free speech and freedom to say what you want to say when you want to say it, even when you're speaking against him. The very one that is inciting riots and encouraging people to go and protest and tear up the dealerships and tear up Tesla vehicles, he's tolerant and he's letting you say this on his platform that he owns. Ain't that crazy? But y'all will sit there and say, oh, no, the left is not tolerant. The right is not tolerant. Elon Musk, he wants to take over. He wants to censor. Then how come he letting you get your rocks off on his platform? Ain't that crazy? So you're going to go on his platform. How come you ain't on Blue Sky? Huh?
But Trump supporters. Now, following this latest controversy involving Crockett, Texas Congressman Randy Weber, he told Fox News that he will introduce a censure resolution against her. Now, instead of hurling insults at him, maybe she and her fellow Democrats could learn a thing or two about governing from Abbott, who's working to push really hard for the people in the great state of Texas. God bless Texas. They want school choice. And Texas Governor Greg Abbott is here with us now. Texas Governor, good to see you. God bless Texas. You had an accident at 26, and you were jogging, and you had a very severe injury, and yes, you are in a wheelchair. And I've gotten to know you. You're a personal friend of mine. I take it personally when friends of mine are attacked viciously for no reason, and there's no way in hell that this woman and her ex-post is going to convince me she meant anything other than what we all believe it to be. Your reaction?
Well, Sean, is another day and another disaster by the Democrats. The reality is they have no vision, no policy. They have nothing to sell but hate. And Americans 100%. Are not buying it. It's one reason why Texas is going to remain red and why Republicans are going to continue to win elections across the country. The fact, Sean, is that Texas is actually in direct contrast to what she was talking about. Texas has ranked #1 for the most new jobs in America over the past month. #1 for the most new jobs over the past year and for several years. Texas ranks #1 for the most new economic development projects for 13 years in a row. CEOs who run businesses have ranked Texas the best state for doing business for 20 years in a row. And Texas is in the vanguard as it concerns the future of the United States, such as space exploration, such as artificial intelligence, such as semiconductors, as well as power generation. The bottom line is that Republican states like Texas are leading the way, and with comments like this by Democrats, we will just leave them in the dust in future elections.
And by the way,
do you see why he's the best governor in the United States of America? The reason why he's the best governor is because he didn't waste any time whatsoever. He's smiling, he's chilling, he ain't tripping about none of this. He don't want to be distracted from the thing that makes Texas great. Even though they may have some Democratic hellholes in Texas, like Houston, like Dallas, that have neighborhoods, even though there are some places that are extremely liberal, and it's a whole lot of people that came over from New Orleans or came over from Atlanta and they all moved to Houston. It's a whole bunch of people that wanted to be a part of the community over there in Dallas and all of these places, and Austin is basically San Francisco light. He focused 100% of his energy, 100% of his energy on what? Addressing the thing that the people want to hear. And the reason why he's the governor of Texas is because he focuses on jobs. He focuses on policy. He focuses on public safety. He focuses on AI technology. He focuses on doing the things that's in the best interest of the people for schools. He focusing on the things that really matter. We have to not be distracted by the ad hominem attacks. The minute that you start to fall into that whole trope, it's fun to talk about, but the minute that you focus all of your energy on it, you get distracted by the things that's the real issues. He playing it perfectly. He's playing it perfectly, answering to the constituents and the people, speaking through her and using this opportunity to create more visibility about what he's doing inside of his own state. This guy is good. He's great. He's absolutely great.
When the next census comes, Texas, I'm sure, will pick up a lot of extra congressional districts, which would be great for Republicans. Let me ask you, I love the idea of abolishing the Department of Education because I believe governors like you, my governor, Ron DeSantis, and others are better able to distribute the funding in a way that'll be more effective. As the president continues to point out, we spend more per capita per student on education than any other industrialized country, and come in about 40th, 37 to 40, depending on what you're looking at in what given year. So it is institutional failure. How will this change things for parents that want their kids to learn reading, writing, math, science, history, and computers?
Well, for one, getting rid of the Department of Education like President Trump is doing will ensure that we are able to provide dollars more directly to what is needed most to achieve our education goals in the state of Texas. Sean, in addition to that, however, is the fact that the Department of Education has increasingly been used to impose ideology at the state level. You'll remember that it was the Biden administration that interpreted Title IX to include men who identify as women.
Yep.
And states like Texas had to fight back against that. We were spending money fighting back against the woke policies of the Biden administration as opposed to devoting those resources to the classroom, which is where they are needed.
And this is why the Department of Education was no good, is because they was using it. They were using the Department of Education to mandate and input things in there that then took resources away from the things that really matter. And what is that? Teacher salaries, educating kids, making sure that they had the infrastructure, and making sure that they had sufficient resources to continue their education and become the best in the nation. Instead, they pushing kids through. Instead, they're mandating that you put diversity, equity, and inclusion in certain classrooms. Instead, the federal government's overreach into what is supposed to be happening inside of the classroom. That's exactly what it was. And this is why the Department of Education is failing. They've been failing our students, and the federal government is using it as a tool. They were using it as a tool to push an agenda. So for everybody that is ignorant about why we needed to abolish or at least shrink the impact and the size of the Department of Education and then put more responsibility on the states themselves, not defund it, continue to put the funds, but allocate it correctly instead of over-mandating, over-legislating, and then pushing an agenda. This is the reason why they needed to get rid of the Department of Education.
We have Tom Homan coming up here in a minute, but you were on the front lines of this immigration lie, that the border is secure and the border is closed. And every day we show images on this program of the exact opposite happening. We'd have people like you and Senator Cruz and others on the program, and you were in the midst of all of this, right in the middle of it. I went down to Texas with Donald Trump, and we were in the Rio Grande area, it was obvious what a disaster it was. How have things changed? What can you report back to us about Donald Trump being in office the short time he's been back?
2 words: sudden change. That's what President Trump delivered. He promised he would secure the border, and in fact, he's done that. Remember the place that you and I and President Trump were at for the interview that you conducted?
Eagles Pass.
That's the place that Joe Biden was. Eagle Pass, Texas, a place where Joe Biden was allowing thousands of people to cross a day and then let them loose in the United States. Today, there's no one crossing at the area. Last month in February, the United States set an all-time record low for the number of people who cross the border illegally. There's hardly anybody crossing our border. And so once again, we have President Trump living up to his promise to secure the border on day one.
Yeah.
Promises made, promise delivered, and this is also what you get when you see people working together, both governor, and president, and we should have Congress members, but we know that ain't necessarily going to come through. Governor and president working together to ensure that the people are benefiting from policy that is supposed to help them, not hurt them. Let me again get a round of applause for Governor Wheelchair and Governor Professor X. Again, make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications.